Any live question? Okay. No, right here.
Thank you so much, Dad.
Yes, you're welcome.
You just touched one of the points I wanted to ask.
Yeah.
When you were concluding, you spoke about mental health, healing and all.
Yes.
I think maybe there should be a session where you can talk more on sex and healing. I think for everyone, everybody wants a beautiful, healthy, happy sex life, but some people are dealing with a bagload of trauma. So it affects,
absolutely,
how the delivery is. Now, so my question goes, you've spoken about it anyways, but just to say, so when you have a reverse role for the oral sex, and you, in quotes, you've been the giver of the sex, the oral sex to your husband, and now you feel it should be reciprocated. But in as much as it can be given, but there's still this mental barrier where you feel like someone's going to hurt you, you'll be viewed as promiscuous, as, so what do you do? How do you make yourself vulnerable and again be healed enough to let it seamless, not putting any rigidity on it?
Are you talking about the receiver or the giver?
The receiver now.
Okay. The receiver has been the giver.
The receiver has been the giver.
And now the receiver,
wants to be given.
Yeah.
But
there's
the person is, yes, there's a fear. And it's already a barrier.
Thank you so much. Now, again, don't forget that the barrier is perceived. It's not actual because it's not been attempted. All right? It's only in a situation whereby I, who have been the one given, and I approach you and I say, sweetheart, can you give also to me? All right? If at that moment you say, oh, sorry, God forbid, I can't try that kind of rubbish, then at that moment it sends a bad message to me, okay? I won't try to ask you for that again because I already see the way you react towards that issue. But when we're dealing with a situation whereby you've not even asked me whether I can give it to you back, all right? You've not asked. But because of your own past experience, okay, you are afraid to ask because you are assuming I may be viewed as promiscuous. Now don't forget that the person who received it comfortably. Now how is the person going to view me as promiscuous when I say, okay, do it for me too? All right? And sometimes the wisest thing to do, ma'am, is when you are in the act, when the man is finding pleasure or the woman is finding pleasure, sometimes that's the best time in the midst of pleasure. That's a time to quickly, rather than have an organized approach where I say, sweetheart, tonight, can you give me? So sometimes the best, particularly when you're doing it for the man, is finding pleasure in what you are doing. At that moment, you want to say, okay, so can you try that with me too? Me too, I want to feel it. I want to feel what you're feeling. You see, at that moment, it's almost like when I'm giving you, I also want to experience myself. So it's not going to create room for that kind of feeling. Again, I think it's about how we present some of the things that we present. So I would say, avoid dealing with all the assumptions of what the person will think or say. Why don't you give a try? And be creative in giving the try. Does that make sense now? The timing, again, don't forget we talked about Tamar, yeah? We said the way she was able to get Jacob was she observed the principle of what? Timing. So timing is very critical. Particularly those of us, when you're having intercourse with a man, I'm sure you know that it's normally during intercourse with men that women who are prostitutes gets men to sign lands, to sign checks. How do they get them to sign check? When the man is already like, women know when women, you know that when a man is almost like hitting ejaculation. Am I correct? At that moment, that's when the woman say, hold on. And you know, if there's anything a man does not want to hear in this world, is hold on when he's already about to hold out. And so at that moment, wise women know what to do. Sorry, hold on. Well, can you do me this? Can you do me that? At that moment, he's ready to do anything because he wants to go back to what. There's something in the way the man's brain works. Whatever I started, I must. So you can